Hello my dear students, I welcome you all to this new video from Believers IS Academy. Today we shall speak about a topic regarding Pakistan's submarine resurgence. For the first time in 1971, Pakistan is returning to the Bay of Bengal, this time with a modern fleet and a new strategic calculus. So the background about Pakistan and India's submarine conflicts goes back to the PNS Ghazi. PNS Ghazi was a submarine that was launched by Pakistan from its Karachi port to hunt INS Vikrant, which was India's only aircraft carrier back then. So Pakistan in 1971, when both involved in the Indo-Pak War of 1971, so during the war times, Pakistan sent the PNS Ghazi from its Karachi port all the way into the Bay of Bengal, trying to locate INS Vikrant, which was India's aircraft carrier. But when it reaches the Bay of Bengal, what it observes is the INS Vikrant is nowhere to be found. Rather, the Indian Navy was ready to counter the PNS Ghazi in the Bay of Bengal. India's government had already gathered intelligence about the movement of PNS Ghazi, and they had strategically shifted the INS Vikrant from the Bay of Bengal to the Andaman Islands. So when PNS Ghazi enters the Bay of Bengal, it observes that there is no Vikrant here. Rather, what it faces is an assault by the Indian Navy. Off the coast of Visakhapatnam, somewhere here, the PNS Ghazi was sunk by the Indian Navy, and all the 93 crew members had died that day. So here it says the Pakistan dispatched PNS Ghazi to the Bay of Bengal to destroy India's only aircraft carrier Vikrant and mine India's east coast, which was a bold wartime gamble by Pakistan. The Ghazi ultimately was sank off Visakhapatnam, killing all the 93 crew members. So India's counterintelligence used decoys and fake radio traffic to bait PNS Ghazi to enter the Bay of Bengal, when INS Vikrant had already left to the Andaman and Nicobar Islands. By the way, PNS Ghazi itself was a leased submarine which was built primarily by USA for US Navy. So this was leased in 1964. And since 1971, the sinking of PNS Ghazi in the coast of Visakhapatnam, India has since achieved undisputed naval dominance in the Bay of Bengal. Pakistan has never asserted its presence in the Bay of Bengal for the last 50 plus years now. Yes, however, these things are changing now. This is a question related to the current affairs. Let us understand what does this try to tell us. The Hangor class submarines are derived from China's Type 039A submarine design. Pakistan plans to induct a total of 8 Hangor class submarines by 2028. The Bay of Bengal lies entirely within the territorial waters of India. Air independent propulsion technology enables conventional submarines to remain submerged for longer durations. Which is the right option? We have to choose this. Ultimately, we'll come back to this and we'll understand about the correct options after the video. Let us now understand what are these Hangor class submarines which have been in news recently. This is a new breed of submarine that has been built under the China-Pakistan Technology Transfer Agreement using China's Type A039 submarine design. Hangor is the name that has been named after a shark because it represents stealth and lethal maneuverability. Alright, so what is the speciality of Hangor class submarine? It has a stealth design which makes it very difficult to be detected by conventional radar systems that have been employed by other countries. It can also stay deep within the water for very long number of days because it uses air propulsion system, that is a new technology wherein you can submerge into the water and there is no need to come up for whatever reasons for a very long period of times. Modern systems, state-of-art underwater warfare technology is included into this Hangor class submarines. What is the reason that these Hangor class submarines are making the news now, and why is Pakistan interested in deploying them in the Bay of Bengal? Now, geopolitically, we see a realignment taking place. That means Pakistan until recently, until last year, when Sheikh Hasina was the Prime Minister of Bangladesh, Pakistan and Bangladesh did not share any cordial relations at all. In fact, Bangladesh was a country that was pro-India. However, last year, all of that has changed. Now, Pakistan and Bangladesh, under its new regime, have become close allies. They have somewhere forgotten the bitter history amongst them, and they seem to be coming together as allies. So, this new strategic realignment that is taking place in India's neighborhood, wherein Pakistan and Bangladesh seem to be coming together closely, is a major cause of concern for India. So Pakistan takes this as an opportunity to infiltrate into the Bay of Bengal with the help of Bangladesh and try to assert its dominance here in the Eastern Command. So, capability gap. Earlier, Pakistan used to have submarines that were conventional, and India's capability in submarine warfare was much better than Pakistan's. However, with the inclusion of Hangar class submarines, which are newly tech-enabled submarines built by China, Pakistan feels that it is now ready to counter India's submarine fleets. So, Pakistan wishes to induct 8 Hangar class submarines by 2028. This is not just about the induction of submarines, it is also about the power projection that Pakistan wants to or seeks to have in the Bay of Bengal. Islamabad seeks to extend its sphere of influence and challenge the status quo in what has been long seen as India's backyard. Since 1971, India has had an undisputed naval dominance in the entire Bay of Bengal. Somewhere Pakistan now tries to shatter that status quo and enter as a new player into the Bay of Bengal, trying to have strategic alliances with Bangladesh. So these things are changing. Now, why is this a new news and an impact for India? India, until now, which had dominance in this particular region, will have to observe a maritime security shift. India must now account for long endurance, stealthy submarine assets operating in the bay, a domain previously considered secure. With more submarines entering the Bay of Bengal, more security assets have to be divested towards the Bay of Bengal to keep an eye upon Pakistan's maneuvers. So this is an added headache for the Indian Navy as well as the Indian security establishments. This move challenges the calm seas doctrine. Basically, a potent subsurface threat fundamentally complicates India's assumed maritime dominance in the Eastern theater. So, until now, the Indian security agencies or the forces were sure about the Pakistan's exclusion from the Bay of Bengal. But now, because Pakistan is trying to enter the Bay of Bengal, so India's calm seas doctrine will be shattered, and India will now have to actively take part in countering Pakistan's maneuvers. The Eastern Naval Command rethink. Now, because Pakistan is trying to disturb the Bay of Bengal, India will have to force a lot of its assets, naval assets, into the Bay of Bengal, Eastern Command. Until now, India used to focus majorly upon its Arabian Sea theater. Now the shift has to be here. So for India, the question becomes how to distribute our naval assets to both the theaters, because both ways we are facing these problems. Okay, so these would be the impact that India would observe because of this particular movement. From Ghazi to Hangar, a technological leap. Earlier, Pakistan would rely upon these Ghazi submarines. Now they have shifted to Hangar. So, what was the difference between PNS Ghazi versus Hangar class submarines? Ghazis were aging analog equipment. They had limited range. Pakistan also showcased wartime desperation back then, and it ultimately ended up being a single mission failure. However, compare this to the newly built Hangar class submarines. They are modern stealth technology, they have long endurance capability, they can sustain strategic posture, and they have advanced underwater warfare systems. So comparing the old submarines of Pakistan with the new China built submarines, there's a massive difference between both. The old submarines could not sustain India's pressure However, the new Chinese-built Hangar submarines can pose a major threat to India's submarine fleet as well as India's naval fleets. So this is a major cause of concern for India. Okay, so the Hangar stealth and persistent capabilities represent a qualitative leap that the 1971 era Ghazi could have never matched. Within 55 years, things have changed. Now, naval battles have changed, naval dominance have changed. With the technology coming in, somewhere Hangar represents a new problems for India. What can these submarines ultimately bring to the table? One submarine and disproportionate impact. Even if the adversary like Pakistan gets one submarine which is highly capable, yes, even a single advanced submarine can force entire fleets to alter operational patterns, which is a psychological and tactical reality as true today as it was in 1971. So as Pakistan had sent PNS Ghazi to destroy India's single or lone aircraft carrier INS Vikrant back then, today, even to this day, even a single worthful capable submarine can cause a lot of damage to adversaries or enemies' naval fleets. So India will be closely watching the induction of the Hangar submarines and what these submarines are capable of in the near future. Okay. This brings us to a new era of underwater competition. Back then, there was a time when USA and USSR used to have these conflicts after the post World War II. During the Cold War period, both used to engage their submarines to tackle each other's naval capabilities. Would we be observing a similar kind of conflict emerge between India and Pakistan, with India's submarine fleets as well as Pakistan's submarine fleets trying to dismantle each other's naval fleet capabilities? Are we entering a new phase of naval domination in the Bay of Bengal? This is what will be observed by a lot of security experts in the coming days. So this is your threat perception coming from the Hangar class submarines. Let us now try and answer the question that we had seen earlier. So the first statement, the Hangar class submarines are derived from China's Type A, Type 03A submarine design. This is absolutely true. Pakistan plans to induct a total of 8 Hangar class submarines by 2028. This is true once again. The Bay of Bengal lies entirely within the territorial waters of India. If you watch the Bay of Bengal here, definitely Bay of Bengal belongs to Bangladesh, it belongs to Myanmar, it belongs to Sri Lanka as well. So the question saying the Bay of Bengal lies entirely within the territorial waters of India should be wrong. Air independent propulsion technology enables conventional submarines to remain submerged for longer durations. This is true once again. So if you go for the correct option, it should become B. 1, 2 and 4 only. Okay. So thank you for watching this video. I'll see you in the next one. Until then, Jai Hind.